In the darkness of human history, some vanish without a trace. Welcome to Whispers in the Shadows HQ, the open ocean. For many, it's a symbol of freedom, adventure, and endless possibility. A vast, sparkling expanse under a warm, welcoming sun. But beneath the shimmering surface, the sea holds depths we can't comprehend, and secrets it rarely gives up. This is the story of a dream vacation that spiraled into a waking nightmare, a mystery that began on the tranquil waters of the Caribbean and has haunted a family for over 2 decades. This is the story of the disappearance of Amy Lynn Bradley, March 1998. The Bradley family, parents Ron and Iva and their children, 23-year-old Amy and 21-year-old Brad, boarded the Royal Caribbean cruise ship, Rhapsody of the Seas. It was meant to be a joyous trip, a chance to bond and create lasting memories. Amy, a recent college graduate with a degree in physical education, was a vibrant and responsible young woman. She was a trained lifeguard, a talented basketball player, and deeply loved by her friends and family. She had her whole life ahead of her. The first few days of the cruise were idyllic. The family explored the ship, enjoyed the amenities, and soaked in the tropical atmosphere. They danced, they laughed, and they felt a world away from their lives back in Virginia. The ship docked in Aruba, then set sail for its next destination, the island of Curaçao. On the evening of March 23rd, the ship hosted a lively party. Amy and her brother Brad went to the ship's nightclub, dancing and enjoying the festive mood. According to Brad, they were having a great time. Sometime after 1 a.m., they parted ways and Brad headed back to the family cabin. This is where the timeline begins to blur, where the happy vacation photos give way to a gallery of unanswered questions. Between 5:15 and 5:30 a.m. on March 24th, Amy's father, Ron, woke up. He saw Amy sleeping on the cabin's balcony sofa. He watched her for a moment before drifting back to sleep himself. When he woke again, just before 6 a.m., the sun was beginning to rise, painting the sky with soft morning light, but the balcony was empty. Amy was gone. Initially, Ron wasn't overly concerned. He figured she had gone up to the deck to get a coffee or watch the sunrise. But as time stretched on, and the ship prepared to dock in Curaçao, a knot of dread began to tighten. The family started searching. They checked the decks, the restaurants, the lounges, every public space they could think of. There was no sign of Amy. Her sandals were still in the cabin, along with her cigarettes and lighter. She had vanished, leaving behind everything but the clothes she was wearing. The family immediately alerted the ship's crew. Their initial pleas for help, however, were met with a startling lack of urgency. They begged the crew not to lower the gangplank in Curaçao, fearing that if someone had taken Amy, they would use the disembarking crowd as cover to get her off the ship. But their request was denied. The ship docked, and thousands of passengers began to pour onto the island. The window of opportunity to contain the situation to the vessel was closing fast. An announcement was finally made, asking Amy Lynn Bradley to come to the purser's desk, but there was no response. The ship's crew conducted a search, but it was cursory at best. The Bradley family felt they were on their own, their desperation growing with every passing minute. They were in a foreign country, on a massive floating city, and their daughter had vanished into thin air. The official search of the ship was not comprehensive. Key areas were overlooked, and the investigation lacked the rigor one would expect when a person goes missing. The prevailing theory from the cruise line was that Amy had fallen overboard, a tragic accident, but the Bradleys refused to accept this. Amy was a strong swimmer, a trained lifeguard. The weather was calm. To them, the idea that she simply fell didn't add up. And there was another disturbing detail. During the party the night before, Brad had noted that some of the crew members were paying an uncomfortable amount of attention to his sister. He felt they were being pushy, and it made him uneasy. One crew member in particular, A waiter known as Yellow had been singled out. Did this unwanted attention play a role in her disappearance? The family couldn't shake the feeling that something sinister had happened right there, on the ship. As the official investigation stalled, the story took a strange and chilling turn. Sightings began to surface. In August 1998, 5 months after she disappeared, 2 Canadian tourists on a beach in Curaçao reported seeing a woman who looked exactly like Amy. She had the same distinct tattoos, a Tasmanian devil spinning a basketball on her shoulder, a sun on her lower back, a Chinese symbol on her ankle, and a gecko on her navel. The tourists said she was flanked by 2 men who seemed to be controlling her. When she made eye contact with them, she looked desperate, as if she was pleading for help before being led away. Then, in 1999, a member of the US Navy reported a truly harrowing encounter. While visiting a brothel in Curaçao, he claimed a woman approached him, saying her name was Amy Bradley and begging him for help. She told him she was being held against her will and wasn't allowed to leave. Before he could react, 2 men appeared and took her away into a back room. He didn't report the incident immediately, fearing repercussions for being in the establishment. By the time he came forward, the lead had gone cold. The most haunting piece of potential evidence came years later. In 2005, an anonymous email was sent to the Bradley family. It contained several photographs of a woman in lingerie, posing in a way that suggested she was being exploited. The woman bore a striking resemblance to Amy Lynn Bradley. While forensic analysts could not definitively confirm it was her, the family believed it was. The photos seemed to confirm their worst fear, that Amy had been abducted and forced into human trafficking. For over 2 decades, the Bradley family has lived in a state of suspended grief. They have never stopped searching, never stopped hoping. They've appeared on national television, hired private investigators, and maintained a website and social media presence dedicated to finding their daughter. The FBI has a standing $25,000 reward for information leading to Amy's location. So what really happened to Amy Lynn Bradley? Did she accidentally fall from the Rhapsody of the seas in the pre-dawn hours? Was it a suicide? An act of desperation no one saw coming? Or was she targeted, abducted from the perceived safety of a cruise ship and sold into a life of horror? The ship's corridors hold their silence. The crew members who were there that night have scattered across the globe. The leads have grown cold, and the sightings have ceased. The case of Amy Lynn Bradley serves as a terrifying reminder that even in places built for leisure and escape, darkness can find a foothold. A cruise ship is a city at sea with thousands of souls on board, and just like any city, it has its shadows. Amy walked into one of those shadows and never came out. Her family is left with only questions and the fading echo of her laughter. The ocean keeps its secrets, and Amy Bradley's story remains one of them. Thank you for joining us here at Whispers in the Shadows HQ. If you found this story compelling, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel for more deep dives into the world's most baffling mysteries. Stay safe and always be aware of the shadows.